Hey gorgeous, welcome back to Life in Style. Today's video is going to be a get ready with me using a lot of the products that were chosen in the 2017 Allure's Best of Beauty. I know that there are videos out there where people are doing full faces. I do not have a full face of all of those products, but I have many, some that are new to me, so this is the first time that I'm trying them. But overall, the ones that I used, whether I had them or I tried today for the first time, absolutely love the way they look. I love the way this look turned out. It was just something that came together rather nicely as well, because sometimes you don't really know how new things are going to work. So I hope it's something that you enjoy as we're going through it and that you enjoy this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I've already done the top of my face. I've done my forehead with foundation powder so that I could do my eyebrows as I normally do. A lot of times I do one eye first just in the spirit of trying to save some time, but today I decided to do both eyes with trying these new products right off the bat together without having tried them on one eye yet. I have primed the eyes though. Today I did go back into my MAC paint pot in Painterly, and then to set the primer I used my ColourPop pressed shadow in Made to Last, which I really do love. Oh, there it goes. We have a jumper. I used to use this all the time. So you see, as opposed to the Milani one, this does have a little color on it, but that's fine. Like I said, I've used this before and it doesn't seem to cause any issues with getting other colors on there. So the first product that I am going to use on the eyes to start carving out my crease is also another ColourPop pressed shadow, and that's in Dreamboat. I am going to pick up my E40 tapered blending and I'm just going to start carving out the crease. So to continue on with the crease work, I'm going to go into another ColourPop pressed shadow, and this is in Popular Demand, just to kind of deepen that up a bit. And if I haven't said it before, which I think I have, if you've watched any of my past videos, these ColourPop pressed shadows are absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, the color payoff is really nice. They blend out absolutely like a dream. I love this formula, hands down. It is one, you know, like once it came out and I kept using them, it quickly turned into one of my very favorite pressed shadow formulas. And the fact that it's so economical is just, you know, ridiculous. They continue to put out great products at a very good price. And they're not, you know, there's a lot of products that are good overall. It's not just good for the price. And these are those shadows that are just good, not because they're $5 or okay for that price range. These are just good from A to Z. You know, to me, I just absolutely love them. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to use the ColourPop pressed shadow in Cloud 9, and this is one of the shadows that made it into the Allure 2017 Best of Beauty. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a smaller brush to go more into the crease, so it's going to be a little lower, and then bring it out just a bit into the outer V. So as you can see, I'm trying to just concentrate that just on the crease and really keep that there. Obviously still smudging it out because we don't want it to be a harsh line, but really trying to keep it right on the crease. So now I'm just going to grab a fluffy brush and I'm just going to blend that out a bit because, again, we don't want any harsh lines. And I'm not going to bring it up above the crease. I am going to lose some of that color, but that's okay. I just want to add a little more dimension to the crease itself. And once everything comes together, it's just another way of not having just one color down. I think having several colors down and kind of mixing and matching together really tends to lead to a more interesting eye look. And even though we're going to put some black over it, I think it's going to look really pretty. So for our shimmer today, I'm going to pick up another Allure 2017 Beauty winner, and this is the Revlon Colorstay Cream Shadow in Creme Brûlée. I actually own a few of these. I didn't own this shade, so I went and picked it up. I will say that I swatched this on my hand and, you know, put it on my finger and then put it on my hand and was absolutely blown away. So I'm going to be a little easy with this because it is a very rich, very pigmented, but we're gonna go ahead and start on the inner corner and bring that in just a bit on the lid. So I think it adds a really nice freshness to that inner corner, not necessarily like an inner corner highlight because obviously I brought it out a little more, but I really do love the way it looks. It's subtle, but still there's something there. And I did bring it up above the crease just a little bit because I don't want the color to get lost too much, but then I am going to go ahead and blend it using one of the ColourPop shadows that we have already used. So I am going to pick up Dreamboat, which is the first one that I used, and I am going to pick up the E38 brush, which is just a smaller, fluffier brush to kind of keep it a little more compact, and then I'm going to start working that back into the crease and really blending into that cream shadow. Then I'm going to take my Sedona Lace fluffy brush, no color on it, and then I'm going to start blending that out a little more as well. Then I'm going to dip into a L'Oreal Color Riche single. This was also a 2017 beauty winner, and this is in Noir C'est Noir, which is a beautiful matte black. I did also swatch this just because I love matte blacks, and sometimes it's hard to find a really good quality one. Extremely impressed with the swatch on this, so I can't wait to put it on my eyes and see how it looks. For that, I'm picking up my Sigma E25 blending brush, and I am going to put that on the outer half, so basically like down the middle and outer half, and then a little bit in the crease. I mean, that's a couple of taps of the brush right there, and that should tell you that it's extremely pigmented. So once I have the application down, I am going to go ahead and start blending my butt off because obviously with any dark shadow, as you can see, it's just placed there. I want to make sure that that's blended out so that the edges aren't harsh at all. And I'm going to lightly blend in between the champagne color and the black because I don't necessarily want to lose any of that, but I want to make sure that it's still blended nicely. I'm going to go back into the Revlon Colorstay, and I'm going to put that on the inner portion of my lid again to just make sure that it's still bright, especially with all this blending of the black shadow. And I want to bring it up just a bit to make sure that you can see that when I open my eyes completely, since my eyes are hooded. And on this one, I just blend it out a little too much. So I got some of that black in that champagne, and we obviously do not want that. So to blend a little more up top and just add a little more coloring up there, I'm going to go into Popular Demand again. I'm going to go back in with my E40 just to keep it kind of spaced out. Just a little bit of color, and then start blending up top. All right, so I'm going to clean up under the eyes, and then we will come back to finish the rest of the face off. I'm also going to do my winged liner. It's just quicker to do it off camera, and then I'll come back to finish off the rest. So to clean up under my eyes, I used my simple micellar water wipes. I always use those, or the actual eye pads, which are just a little smaller, but they're still the Simple brand. Absolutely love that wipe. You'll always see it in every video just because I really do like that it's not too soapy, not too dry. It's just perfect, and I love the way it cleans up under my eyes. And then for liner today, I used my Maybelline Eye Studio. I've been using this one a lot lately. It's one of my absolute favorite gel liners. Just love the way it applies, love the way it wears. It doesn't flake off or crust off as, you know, like the hours go on. It's just really nice. And the color I'm using on this is Blackest Black. So to move on for the face, I don't have a primer that was part of the 2017 beauty favorites, but I did pull one that I absolutely love, and it's the Dr. Brandt Pores No More primer. Love the way this primer feels on the skin. It does blur the pores, and although it comes out flesh colored, it just dries down to nothing. Feels very nice, kind of silicone-y. There is a little bit of a kind of a medicinal smell, but that goes away rather quickly. It is not something that's so overbearing, even for, you know, the 5 seconds that's on your face, that it's going to, I think, deter you from using this primer. For corrector today, I decided to use my Maybelline Master Camo. I've been using this for quite some time, pretty much since it first came out, and it has quickly become one of my favorite correctors. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I correct every single time I do my makeup because I have dark circles, and this has quickly become one of my favorites, and I love the fact that it's also very economical and from the drugstore. To press that into the skin, I'm using my Real Technique sponge, which I normally do. And just like I say, I press it into the skin. I spread it around a bit, but not too much, because the orange can get everywhere. But what I do is I want to blend it out just a bit. And then what I will do with the foundation and concealer is completely cover that. You will not see any orange once it's all said and done. So I am going to be using a foundation that was on the 2017 Allure Best of Beauty. It's the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir. This shade is in 760. It is too dark for me, but I had already purchased this before. The shade I actually purchased was about 2 shades lighter than this. So what I decided to do was get a darker one and then just lighten it up with my lightening drops that I have from the Body Shop. Love these. I don't feel that this changes the kind of makeup of the foundation at all. I use the lightening drops with all types of foundations, whether it's inexpensive, expensive, doesn't matter what brand. I don't feel that this changes like that chemical makeup of the actual foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this with the lightening drops. I am also mixing in my Urban Decay Velvetizer. So I've mixed that on a mixing palette, and I am just going to go ahead and take my finger and start dotting that around my face. And then I'm going to take another Allure 2017 Beauty winner, and that is the Beauty Blender, and I'm going to start pressing that into the skin. You know, I'll say something about the Beauty Blender. When it first came out, or when I first started kind of getting into makeup a lot and getting my YouTube channel together, I bought one because everybody was using it, and I'm like, oh, this is so interesting, and didn't like it at all, and I'm like, what's the point, you know? And so I kept using my brush that I was always using, and at some point I started using this a little more and absolutely fell in love the second time around. And so I use this quite often to kind of get the foundation on the skin, more so than a brush now. Although I will tell you that with this application using the Beauty Blender, you're going to get a softer application, a lighter application, as opposed to a really good foundation brush that is going to kind of paint the foundation on your skin. But like I said, I love my Beauty Blender. I use it all the time. Just love the finish that it gives me. I'm not a full coverage girl most of the time, and you probably know that if you've watched my videos. So it's not something that I strive for, that I have to necessarily cover absolutely everything on my face. You still see like this blemish mark. You still see a little bit of it. Some of my birthmarks, you still see them. I know some people who just like a full coverage just across the board and need to absolutely have everything covered, and that's great. I'm just not that type of person. So for me, using a Beauty Blender to just get a lighter application is absolutely okay. There are times that I use completely full coverage, but overall I don't mind this kind of coverage. So I can tell you, you know, like I said, I've already used it on the forehead, but just looking at it on the rest of the skin, love the way it looks. It looks really nice. It doesn't and it seems to match my neck pretty good. I always have issues with that. That's one thing that always scares me, is not being able to match my foundation perfectly. It may look right, but then you're like, okay, what's going on with the neck? So I really do like the way it looks. For concealer today, I'm going to use another 2017 Best of Beauty winner, and that is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I have been talking about this concealer forever since I got it, and if you've watched any of my videos, you know that this has quickly taken the place of my Tarte Shape Tape, which I absolutely love. Still love it, but this formula is just absolutely amazing. A lot of people may not like that it comes in a pot. I just, you know, dig in there with a brush. The coverage on this is inexplicable. It is just so good, so full coverage, so smooth and soft underneath the eyes. Doesn't, you know, like crease up, even though I use powder, but you could still crease up even using powder. Sometimes there are concealers that are just, you know, just don't work that well. But this is so high coverage, covers everything, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to go in with another 2017 Best of Beauty winner, and this is the very small Beauty Blender. I don't tend to use these too much because for me, I can use the large one under the eyes just fine and not have an issue. But because I already did have it and it was part of the 2017 Best in Beauty, I decided to break it out. For me, it's just like, another, you know, thing to use or whatever, but people may like it because it is really small and gets under the eyes very beautifully and just perfectly, as you could see. So I'm just going to get this concealer under the other eye. I am almost hitting the bottom of this because like I said, when I got it and I realized that it was just so good, I used nothing else. So I told myself, you know, you have to start using other things. You have other concealers and you need to put this away for a while. But I just, like I said, I just love it. The coverage is amazing. It covers everything. And more than rivals, in my opinion, the Tarte Shape Tape. I also went in with a darker color when I purchased this concealer. I know a lot of people like to use their concealers to lighten and brighten up under the eye area, which is absolutely wonderful. But what I've been learning as I continue to do more research with makeup, I'm also freelancing, so I have to learn different techniques for different skin tones, different ages, that sort of thing. I've learned that as you get older, you actually should not be using these very lightening, brightening type of concealers because they just seem to accentuate any lines and that, you know, that you have under your eyes. I am a more mature YouTuber. A lot of people, when I tell them my age, like gawk at me and like, I need to see your license. But as, like I said, as I kind of started figuring that out, I decided to start using concealers that are more close to my skin tone. And I am actually loving the way that looks much better. I personally don't like this area too white. That's just my preference. You do what you want. What you feel looks best on you, absolutely fine. There are no rules in makeup. But I just find that I like this better just being one shade and not too bright and too white under there. So to set that powder, this is how I do brighten though, a little bit under the eyes if I am using a concealer that's my skin tone, is I use my banana powder from Anastasia. Love the banana powder because it adds a little bit of kind of glow under there and a little bit of brightness and lightness without completely making it white, which again, I have been trying to steer clear of for quite some time. It's, you know, as you get older, your skin does different things. No matter what you try to do to it, it's gonna hit a certain point where, you know, things are gonna get a little drier, you know, you have to hydrate more and that sort of thing. So we just wanna make sure that the skin looks really healthy. To set the rest of the face, I am going into the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I have been using this a lot lately since I finally cracked it open. I've used it, I think, in my last 3 or 4 videos because I absolutely adore it. And I think that for the VIB Rouge sale at Sephora in a couple of weeks, I'm going to pick up the full size of this and save money because why not? The reason why I hadn't bought it before is because I obviously am not a pale person and thought that I might have some white cast with it, but that is not the case. Love the way it sets everything. It doesn't add the white cast. It doesn't make me pale. It just sets everything beautifully, and I just love the way it looks. So now that we've set the face, we are going to finish off under the eye. So I am just going to, per usual, zoom you in just so that you can see what I'm doing. So what we're going to do to start under the eyes is I am going to start with Cloud 9, which is one of the ColourPop pressed shadows. And like I said earlier, this was the one of the bunch that made the 2017 Best in Beauty from Allure. So I am going to take my E15 flat definer brush. I'm going to pick up that shadow, and I am basically just going to line the bottom of the eyes or the lash line with this shade. I'm going to take my Morphe E36. I'm going to grab a little more of that Cloud 9, make sure I tap off all of the excess, and then I am going to go over that and just start buffing that out. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the L'Oreal Color Riche shadow we had used earlier in Noir Say Noir, which is the black. I'm going to grab the E15 again, and I am going to go on the outer third of the eye. I've really been liking the way that's looking lately, where I'm not lining the entire eye in black, but just the corner, so that it just kind of pops once I have the lashes on. It looks really nice in the corner. And I'm just pressing it into, or onto the skin, I should say, onto the lash line, because I don't want any fallout. Although I will say that when I cleaned up under my eyes earlier, I really didn't have a lot. Let me show you that. See that? And I had used, or let me see this side probably. I had used a lot of the black, and I hardly had any fallout, which, like when I was cleaning it, I kind of noticed it and was completely impressed with that. And I'm going to buff that out with the E36. To highlight the brow bone, I'm going to go into my LA Colors Duotone in Eclipse, which has this gorgeous matte white and matte black. And I'm just going to pick up the matte white, and I am going to highlight the brow bone. It's been the longest time, but I've been absolutely obsessed with using matte white for highlighting the brow bone instead of shimmers. Again, you do what you want to do. There's no right or wrong. And I used to use shimmers a lot, but I just have been loving the way the white, the matte white just looks underneath. If you hear my dog barking, it's because he's going batshit crazy. For what reason? Nobody knows. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the highlighter that I'm going to use on my face in a little bit to highlight the inner corners, just because I didn't want a white because this was really close to it. This is going to be a duochrome highlighter, and this is in Celestial from Makeup Geek, and this is what it looks like right there. I've used it before and absolutely love it. So it's going to come off with a little bit of like a purple shift, but again, not so close to what I used on the inner corner to really not make it noticeable. So for bronzer today, I'm going to go into my Bare Minerals Ready Bronzer in the High Dive. I have used this before. I have talked about this before. Absolutely love this bronzer because it is matte and it is darker, so it looks really good on my skin. I'm going to go in with the BH Cosmetics 114, which is what I've been using for bronzer lately. I just find that since the brush is a little smaller, it gives me control where I need it. I used to use a bigger brush to bronze, and I just found that I liked this one a little better. So for blush today, I have another 2017 Best of Beauty winner, and it is the Flower Beauty Flower Pots blush. This one I have is in Deep Peony. So I am just going to use my Morphe E4 to pick that up, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that on my cheeks. So like I said, for highlighter, I'm going to be using my Makeup Geek Duochrome in Celestial. One of my favorite highlighters whenever I wear this, especially to work. People are like, dang girl, what you got on your cheeks? And it doesn't take a lot either. I mean, it quickly picks up a lot of product. I'm actually going to tap off a bit. But I mean, you could see that shine just beautifully. I love the way this duochrome looks on my cheeks. So I'm going to pop on my false lashes, then I'm going to do my lips so I don't mess up the lips while I'm messing with my eyes. I'm going to do that off camera because sometimes it can be an ordeal to do so, and then I'll be back to finish off the lips. So I went ahead and popped on my false lashes. The ones that I used are also part of the Allure 2017 Best in Beauty, and those are the Kiss Lash Couture Faux Mink collection, and they're in little black dress. As I was applying these lashes, I was oohing and eyeing and hemming and hawing. They are beautiful, beautiful. And if you've seen my videos, you kind of know the situation that I don't have lashes, so I don't have anything for any fake lash to actually sit on. They have to be really good on their own to kind of stay up and not fall down, which I have had issues with some brands in the past. I can't remember the names right now, but that were just almost flimsy. These are very light, but went on beautifully. I just took my time. Seriously, I am in absolute love. So I am going out after I film this video. So the test to this will be is if in an hour, 2 hours, they kind of start falling. But for now, love these. They look natural, so beautiful. Like, I hope you're seeing on camera what I'm seeing in the mirror because I am absolutely in love. If these stand the test of time over the next several hours, I'm going to be picking up several boxes of these lashes. They are absolutely gorgeous. Kiss is a brand you can get at the drugstore. I got these at Walgreens. So, and I think they were only like $5 or $5.99. Definitely not a bad price for a lash that I'm going to use multiple times and looks really good and natural. So we are going to move on to lips right now. And I am going to use two more, actually one more winner for 2017. I am using the lip liner that goes along with this, and that is the NARS PowerMatte Lip Pigment. I have used this before. I already had owned this when the list came out. And you guys know I absolutely love it. This is in the shade London Calling. And like I said before, when you go on the website, they will pair up the lip liner with the PowerMatte lip pigment that you want. So the look is very cohesive and very, very nice. So I'm going to line my lips first with that lip pencil. And that is in Lavandou. I think I always butcher that name, but what are you going to do? So I'm going to go in now with the liquid lipstick. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope it's something that you enjoyed watching. I definitely enjoyed putting it together for you, especially trying out so many new items that, again, some of them I did own and some of them I went out and purchased, but knowing that Allure had chosen them and it's stuff that I have enjoyed is always really nice. I think it's kind of that validation. The lashes were absolutely standout for me. As you can tell, I was absolutely gushing about them. Definite standout for me. The black eyeshadow from L'Oreal, the color Riche, also stand out because it's just really nice and matte and deep. But overall, I absolutely love the way the look came together. And I really am looking forward to using a lot of these new products that I only tried today in the future because I really did like everything that I tried. Thanks so much for spending a few moments of your day with me. Please remember to subscribe to the channel before you leave. Also click that little bell so you get alerted as to whenever I upload new videos. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!